Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Thursday. Welcome to the Grand Central Sports Hub. I'm Jay-Z. Diamond Dan along with us. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Jay-Z.
Mr. Soriano taking care of some errands. Will join us
effects.
And will join us a little bit later. Dan, it is the 13th anniversary of Tom Coughlin's frozen face, Lawrence Tynes' overtime kick, and the Giants going to the Super Bowl in 2008 to play the undefeated New England Patriots.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Good. What?
No, it's too bad Matt's not on yet because I remember this night very fondly in 2008 in Chicago. It was about 25 degrees below because in Green Bay it was like 40 below. And we were eating, we were out having drinks. We went to watch the game. And freaking just after the game, I get in the car and I go, great. Now we have the right to get our ass kicked by the Patriots.
Well, you know, the funny thing about that particular championship Sunday, which we inaugurate with our hat today.
I have my Giants vest on.
You do. Your victory vest. So I was in Boston at the time. I was living in another part of the country in the DMV. And happened to be in Boston, and you're like, wow, we got to go out for these games because it's. I think that year it happened to be Martin Luther King weekend, so Monday was the holiday, so it was even more of a reason to, go out and watch football when you could actually do that 13 years ago. Yes. So I sat through the entire Patriots game, which I remember being very dull and slow. And I, for the life of me, can't even remember who they played that year. It may have been San Diego. I don't know. But the game was very boring, and I was just waiting all day to watch the Giants game. So all my friends who were in Boston, we were at a bar in Quincy. And I remember, just sitting around drinking beer all day, waiting for this game to start. And then we ended up at another bar in Quincy where, I being the only Giants fan in this entire packed bar of happy Patriots fans thought I was insane when I celebrated the Patriots, or rather when I celebrated the Giants winning the game. And joke's on them now. So I don't think they were, they were like, well, that's nice that you guys beat the Packers in overtime, on a Corey Webster interception of old man Brett Favre. But next year, Super Bowl is not going to go very well for you. And then look what happened. So I should have gone back there and rubbed it in everybody's face. But I was back at home, so I couldn't do that.
Unbelievable year that was for sure. So good memories when we were allowed to have fun and go out and do things, and the Giants were good.
And I think the understated part of that run was that the Giants won all three of their playoff games on the road. They won in Tampa, they won in Dallas, and they won in Green Bay. Those are 2.5 difficult environments, and they went into Tampa Bay and held the game pretty close, and I think they ended up taking off after a while, and then Dallas, and no one remembers the Dallas game. I think that was really more critical. I don't, in getting through to Green Bay. That was the first playoff game that Green Bay had hosted, I think, and it may have been the first NFC Championship game they ever hosted.
It's funny. I don't remember the Dallas game. I remember watching the Tampa game with Seth and a couple of our mutual friends in Rockland, and then Dallas. I have no recollection of the Dallas game. And then I watched the Green Bay game with Matt, and I have very good recollection of the Super Bowl. But
the Super Bowl was interesting, and just what a run for a 10-6 team or whatever they were at the time. And I don't think we took it for granted at all, and I think it was so enjoyable to watch. And I think it was week 17 when they played the Patriots and took them right to the end of the game, and they ended up losing, I think, 35-30 or 28 or whatever it was. But they had they kept pace with them. And at that point, you wouldn't think that, a month later they would be playing each other in the Super Bowl. But, you were like, hey, the Giants are going to get hot going into the playoffs. And, they're road warriors, baby.
That's how it's done. Hi, Tom. Hi, Kathy. Thanks for joining us this evening, Kathy. Our loyal watchers. I know we have my uncle on board. Casey is watching this evening. Thanks for joining us. And today, so that'll bring us into the fact that NFL Championship Weekend, Championship Sunday, is coming up this Sunday. But a big day today, a big day that I did not expect in the state of Virginia. sports gaming was legalized last year. All the sports books were going for their licenses to be rolled out this month. And lo and behold, FanDuel was given the green light today out of nowhere. Did not expect it. We did not know. And all of a sudden I see a tweet at like 2:30 that FanDuel's live in Virginia. So sports betting is legal in Virginia. I am fucked. And, here we go, right? So I decided to make the NBA relevant tonight in my life, right? So first of all, they did these great introductory offers. There's one today. It was it's basically free even money if LeBron or Giannis score 1 point. It's already happened. Giannis scored the first bucket of the game tonight. It's plus 100 with a max of 50. So 50 in gets you 50. So start the week up $50. Weekend up $50. How about that? How about that for an introductory bet?
Good way to start the weekend.
I decided to do 2 $5 parlays this evening. Picked all the overs. Lakers at Bucks, 228.5. Pelicans at Utah, 217.5. Knicks at Golden State, 215. $5 parlay wins me $30 if that works out. Went with a 3-team parlay on wins. $5 wins me $33. Lakers money line over the Bucks. Knicks money line over Golden State, and Pelicans money line over Utah. So,
who would have ever thought that you'd be taking the Knicks over the Bucks on the money line, or the Warriors?
Why not? Why not? Let's go for a 3-game winning streak for the New York Knicks. Go New York! Go New York! Go!
Yeah, we've been on we've been over here. We've been on a little bit of a run since the championship game. Since the college football championship game.
Look, are you having tax problems in Massachusetts as well, Dan? Because Casey's having.
I thought I'm good. You're just used to it at this point.
You don't even know what's going on. Yeah. Well, at least for Casey, New York is going to legalize sports betting. So that is
one of these days. It's been legalized for years, but
yes,
about getting around. I think that's what happened in Virginia too. Is that it was legal, but it never, they never settled on a deal for, for a provider or whatever.
Right, and they'll all be once they're approved. They did say there's at least 12 licenses, so everyone will be active in Virginia before too long.
Yeah, and I mean, like in New Hampshire, there's one provider, but I don't think the volume will be anywhere near what they get in Virginia or New Jersey. So.
Well, and that's exactly it. Like DC, it was just the state lotto app. It was terrible. It really was bad. But this is all the good. They'll all be MGM. Will be Barstool Sportsbook will be active. I'm sure before too long. Their stock is out of control. 10 Gaming. If we knew that a year ago at $3 a share. We would be doing very well at over $100 a share today.
Well, had you known, but
I know. Look, if Bill watched the Knicks. See what happens when a team wins a few games. See what happens.
Yeah, I'm telling
Isn't it crazy?
It's going to be like a Disney curse after they, swipe the Knicks in that new Disney movie Soul. Now they have they have something to prove,
right? I mean, it's pretty it's just fun. They're at least competent, even if they're not, they're going to remind me a lot of the Giants perhaps this year. A good coach on a team that does not have a lot of talent, and maybe they maybe steal some games and they become relevant. Maybe they're on the fringe of the playoffs, right? I mean, that's what you're hoping for if you're the Knicks. That's a great season if you're the Knicks.
Anything goes, man. Especially in a year like this.
Yeah. We're off to a good start in 2020.
And I think, Casey, that's a good point, is that, Thibodeau, Salem State graduate, of course, and former head coach of the Salem State basketball team here in Massachusetts. If he's energizing the players and they actually play like they give a shit, it's a lot, obviously it's more entertaining, but you have a better chance of actually winning games. And, the NBA is yet to really encounter another coronavirus issue, knock on wood. Granted they started it last year, but let's hope they can keep it going. Good for the Knicks. Unlike my Rockets, man. They trade their big man.
You're done. You're off that Rockets ship has come down to earth.
It'll
fast.
come back. All those picks they got, 700 picks for
Takes some
James
time.
Harden. So, but bringing in Victor Oladipo, I think that was a nice. Reel him in, make him, see if he can perform as a not a star player, but as a kind of a marquee player in a team full of fucking second rates. But we'll see what happens. I'm sure Stevie Francis is out there somewhere and bring him back. If Des Bryant can score touchdowns in the NFL playoffs in 2021, anything can happen.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Oh well, yeah. I mean, if I tell you, Houston sports right now, not the best week. Not the best. But Hopkins hasn't been dealt yet, right? That's just speculative.
I doubt. I'm of the mind that I don't think he's going to be.
He just sounds so unhappy.
Haskins. Wait, what are we talking? Haskins was traded or was picked up by.
Oh yeah, Haskins.
Pittsburgh. And DeAndre Hopkins isn't. He's in Arizona, and you're talking about Deshaun Watson?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, Hopkins has been gone,
about?
but Watson, I think he's going to get moved.
Well, I will say that the Hopkins trade was bad, right? I mean, they got nothing back.
That was the old.
They could have at least gotten like a weekend in Cliff Kingsbury's house.
Yeah.
But I think all this stuff about this noise about Watson, what he's got 2 years left on his deal in Houston, obviously is being framed as a franchise quarterback, and I think Casey, you're dreaming, buddy. The Jets are going to draft their quarterback. We all know that, and that's going to be Justin Fields.
I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't know if they're going to do that.
Watson has 5 years left on his deal.
I think the Jets are going to try to trade here for a quarterback, and I don't think they're going to try to draft one.
Don't they have the second pick? Do they have the third pick?
But why would you? Why?
I think
they're going to try to trade for a quarterback.
There are going to be quarterbacks available. You have Wentz. You've got Rivers is off the market. Is Wentz really a quarterback? Well, and again, I don't think Wentz is going to go anywhere, to be honest, at this point as well. But you're going to have some quarterbacks. Not Ryan Tannehill. Yeah.
This guy. Who's this guy? Who's this guy?
Well, I am paying for this fucking thing.
Thanks, Dad.
The Godfather has spoken.
The voice of Jewish God is here. Can I put a finer? I was just finishing a point about how Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to be quarterbacking the Jets next year.
They're going down that road again? Oh boy, I'll pass.
Well, would you take Fields at your pick, or would you try to trade for a quarterback?
I don't know. There's the BYU kid too, right?
Listen, I'm not going to put too much stock in one game. I'm just not going to put too much stock in one game with Fields. I'm looking at the body of work. I still think Fields at number 2 for the Jets is too high.
Yeah, that's fair. They have other problems too. They're not just a bad quarterback. They don't have a quarterback problem. They have a team problem.
But they don't have a quarterback. That's the problem.
Yeah. I'll tell you this. I'm of the mind that keeping Darnold around might not be the worst thing in the world. Might not be. You get him.
Try him with one more guy, different guy.
He could be a serviceable quarterback if you put some weapons around him. You trade out of 2. They already have a ton of assets as it is, right? Get more assets. I'll tell you what, you could build a team behind him now.
Now, here's a question. Do you take Devontae Smith at 2, or is that too high?
I think for a wide receiver, that's probably too high.
Even a wide receiver of that caliber. Then you're talking, and you literally just said, get weapons around.
Get weapons. It may not be a bad idea.
I mean, he's like the fucking Moab bomb of weapons right now.
I just think too. I do.
You know what's funny, real quick, about Seth popping in? I didn't even send you the link, and you just have like powers. If you have the admin powers of this, and you just show up, I was like, oh my god, SC, who's SC? And then your face just shows up.
Who's SC? Who do you think it is? Maybe we got Zoom on by a guy with a 10-inch dick.
I mean, who's that? See, you've only known me for 35 years.
Well, it was before I was like, oh my God, there's a person joining. Who the fuck is that?
I will say the whole time that I used Zoom, never got Zoom
bombed. Time for us to reevaluate our friendship if you don't even know.
Yeah. No, seriously.
What was your name again?
So I think this has primed us well for a preview of this Sunday's football action. Wouldn't you say?
We need to talk about last weekend first.
Well, we could do that here. So let's do this. 2 games Sunday, and they're going to be. Oh God, I hope they're going to be good because they have the potential.
There are 2 games. I thought there were 6.
Thanks.
Well,
look at you.
Easy there, Cindy.
So we're down to the nitty gritty. We have the Packers hosting the Bucks and the Chiefs hosting the Bills, and what I hope is 2 slobber knockers. Let's hit up the Bucks visiting the Packers first.
How cold is it going to be in Green Bay?
That's a good question. Packers are given 3, and I think the weather plays a huge part when you're talking about Brady at his nimble age.
I don't know, man. This is a pure toss-up.
What's the line?
Packers given 3.
I don't know, man.
I mean, I'm
going to have to.
I think Rodgers at home, NFC Championship game. I think that's going to be too much to overcome. And I know it's Tom Brady lining up against him, but my gut, I'm going with my instinct. I'm going with my gut here. I'm going with Green Bay at home. I think Rodgers to me is a presumptive MVP this year. He's playing at an extraordinarily high level, and my gut tells me, and I have a big gut, my gut tells me that it's going to be Rodgers and the Packers winning that game. I don't know if they'll cover. They're giving 3. I don't know if they'll cover.
Well, that's
1 or 2 points.
It's actually up to 3.5 for what it's worth.
Might win by a field goal. I think it's going to be close, but I'm going with Rodgers and the Packers.
And the over-under is 51.5, and I think that's a little high for this match.
It's a little high. I don't know if Tampa's going to put a lot of points on the board in this game. Here's the thing. Tampa is peaked at the right time, right? Arians figured out how to play call for Brady, 8-yard dink passes, 7-yard dink passes. And he finally figured it out after, I'd say, the last quarter of the season. And they have a running game, but God, I mean, how do you go against Rodgers at home, to Seth's point? By the way, it's going to be 29 degrees and a chance of snow. That's nice. That's nice for Green Bay this time of year.
Yeah, I mean, it's no different than it would be here.
That's balmy.
Yeah, balmy. They'll have the sunscreen out. I don't know. I mean, they do, it's true. The Packers are a better team than the Saints, and I mean, for all intents and purposes, the Saints should have won that game were it not for the 4 turnovers and bad penalties. In whatever Superdome.
If the Saints did not rely on Breeze and they pulled the trigger and made a move, they would have won that game.
Well, I mean, the most electric play of the game was executed by Jameis Winston.
Yeah, if you put Winston or
Jameis Winston, remember him?
Yeah.
I mean, that was a beautiful play call. I mean, and to your point about Bruce Arians, you know how he figured out how to play call for Tom Brady? He lets Tom Brady call the plays.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's the same shit he was doing here. He finds a slot receiver. He finds, Mike Evans across the middle for 14, whatever, It's not rocket science. And then there's Gronk, and he's got Ronald Jones. So, he's got what he needs. And I would say the Tampa defense is probably better than the Packers defense, but I tend to lean towards here in that, the Packers at home, and you'll probably have a few drunken fans in the stands. But I just, every time I bet against Tom Brady, it gets.
I know.
My instincts without Aaron Rodgers and the Packers on the other side would tell me don't bet against Brady in this situation. But the fact that they're going against Rodgers, to me, that's the X factor.
It is a very intriguing matchup.
I struggled with this at first, and I talked to Casey about it, and I said I like Tampa, and then he basically laid out the same reasons you guys did as to why Green Bay is the better pick, and I've seen the light. I agree, but I just would not. Let's just say this: nothing shocking if Brady wins this game and Tampa wins, you cannot come next week and say you were shocked. I don't think it's a shock.
No, I wouldn't be shocked. I think it's going to be within the spread. I wouldn't be shocked.
Well, that's my worry. Do you bet this? Do you bet this money line, Dan, or you bet this spread?
I would bet that. I mean, whatever the odds are better. I'm assuming the money line odds are better, and I would take whoever I'm going to take with the money line. Fuck the points. It's 3.5. I mean, maybe it's 3.5 in New Hampshire. I mean, that's probably going to come down before Sunday, but to either 2.5 or 3, like Seth said. But I would just say if the odds are better, take
the money line. The money line is 178 minus 178, and the spread is minus 130.
So it's supposed to snow in Green Bay, but remember Tom Brady played in Foxborough, so I don't think the snow is going to affect Brady at all.
Take the points.
I think Green Bay. If you're going to do Green Bay, you got to take the points. I do. That's the only where Seth and I might disagree because Seth is thinking they may not cover, but
I see it coming down to a field goal late. I think it might be one of those games where whoever has the ball last wins.
Money line it is.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Well, no, I think so because listen, I was waffling here back and forth, and I like Tampa, and I think if I go Green Bay, to your point, they may not cover. So take Green Bay on the money line at negative 178 and just run away. Run away and be happy. I don't know. What else can I've been burned by the spread this playoffs a few weeks in a row. So the Bills killed me 2 weeks in a row, 2 weeks ago rather. So I don't want it to happen again.
Yeah.
So, and I know this is the one that is to me super fun matchup. Bills visiting the Chiefs. So the Chiefs are given 3 as well to the surging Bills. A Bills team that when they played the Chiefs earlier in the year was nothing like this nothing playing like they are now. So I can't look at that game. Cannot look at that game. Do not look at that game. It doesn't mean anything. Totally different team now, these Bills.
The Bills to me, I'm looking at this game and I'm saying the Bills to me are in a good position because they're getting hot at the right time. Right? So normally you'd go with your instincts and say, okay, Kansas City, but you have Mahomes. You don't know how banged up he is, but he doesn't totally seem quite right going into this one. And the Bills, to me, Josh Allen has emerged as a star in my mind. That connection that he has with Stephon Diggs, I mean, that's one of the best 1-2 punches in the NFL right now. And the Bills are peaking, so I don't count the Bills out at all. I still think Kansas City's going to find a way at home in the AFC Championship game. I get that sense, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Bills go in there and win. I think they have a legitimate chance.
I really like the Bills here. So that's the underdog pick of the week for me here. I mean, I really like the Bills. Nothing shocking in this. Again, none of these games are a shock. Any of these teams win. There's no shocks involved. But again, Mahomes. Here's what I think. They're gonna clear Mahomes. Right? The NFL is going to clear Mahomes. He's going to be allowed to play, but he's not 100%. How many guys get knocked silly like that and are allowed to play the next week?
Yeah.
They're going to let him play, but I can't see him being fully there. And he has a toe injury on top of it, I think.
So you think the fix is in? You think Mahomes will be in?
And he'll be in. I do think the fix is in for the approval. So funny, Casey and I ran back the Kansas City schedule this year. They have not faced a quarterback anywhere close to what Allen brings into the table. Their schedule was not difficult this year, and their quarterbacks they faced were not hard. So I don't know if their defense has been tested like this all season.
He's evolved into a bona fide star. So
and his feet, his arm, and you package that with their competent receivers. I tell you, the Bills are tasty for me this weekend, Dan.
Sorry about that, Lamar Jackson moment, but I would have to say, I agree on the Bills. There's no doubt in my mind that Mahomes is going to play on Sunday. He took most of the reps on the first team today. He actually doesn't have a concussion. From what we understand, he's in the protocol, but he had like a pinched nerve or something. And
wait! I don't believe this is that what they're saying? Because did you see he didn't even know where he was?
Yeah, well, I mean, he went to Texas Tech. Let's not give him that much credit. But look, I agree on all of Seth's points. Josh Allen is a superstar. He has established himself as such. They covered last week. They did not cover against Indianapolis, but 6.5 points was 6.5 points. That was a lot of first playoff game in Buffalo in a long time, blah 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 bullshit. But I think the Bills have what it takes to go in there and shock the hell out of 18,000 people that are sitting in Arrowhead Stadium and go to the fucking Super Bowl.
I'll tell you this. I have some conflicting thoughts about this. My instincts tell me that the NFL, I'm going with my instincts a lot tonight. My instincts would tell me that the NFL would probably want Rodgers and Mahomes in the Super Bowl.
Of course.
But the Bills, they've kind of become America's darlings right now. They're kind of, I won't say they're Cinderella, but I think, the Bills, in terms of popularity, they've gained a lot of steam nationwide. So I think if the Bills make it, I don't think there's much of a letdown there if Mahomes isn't in.
No,
I mean, everything goes, nobody, 99.9% of the population of the U.S. has never been to Buffalo. Hell, they've never been to upstate New York, right? But
this is where we need Mr. Soriano to talk about his time in Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tight-knit Polish town, right? So, and these people, and they don't have, they have college sports, but they don't have college sports, right? They don't have a baseball team unless they import them from Canada during a fucking global pandemic. I mean, the Bills are Buffalo, right? And they are upstate New York. I mean, I lived in Albany for 4 years. There's a lot of bleed from New York, New York City, obviously, because you have people that like myself that moved up there. But you also have that upstate, fuck off mentality, and that goes along with what Bills Mafia became. And I think there's going to be, of course, and the other thing is that it is very hard in the NFL to win 2 Super Bowls in a row, right? And I mean, getting there, and granted, it's a fucked up year and all that, but this is why you play the games, right? Dennis, whoever the fuck it was that said that, that's why we play the games. But this is what it's all boiled down to, and I think when Bills fans came out and, the whole, thing about Bills Mafia and breaking the tables and all that, and then you walk into Dick's Sporting Goods in Buffalo and in the middle of the Bills section are folding tables. They go out and donate $130,000 to Lamar Jackson's charity after he gets his bell rung at the end of the game. A couple of weweeks ago,
that was pretty wild. Yeah.
It's stand-up shit like that, right? That's kind of that aw shucks upstate New York thing, the why not us? And, I think if Singletary has, 75 yards and Allen can move around. I mean, there was a prop last weekend that Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson were both score touchdowns. Granted, Jackson got hurt and was out for half the game, but neither of them scored. I mean, if Josh Allen scores a touchdown in this game, look the fuck out. So, I mean, I think the Buffalo defense has holes. I think Baltimore exposed them over the middle. And if they play zone, it's the same story as the Giants. They're going to lose fucking Kelsey, and that's going to be a problem, for the Buffalo defense. They looked a little shaky at times, against both Indianapolis and Baltimore. But, name one standout player in the Bills defense.
Yeah.
Guys, I got to check out. I got to go do a Tylenol run for the wife. I got to go to.
Oh, you have fun with that.
So you're picking the Bills and the Packers.
Bills and Packers.
Okay.
Bills
we'll
and
see
Packers.
how it shakes out.
I'm going to go with Rodgers to get this one.
I think it's going to be a hell of a Sunday. That's what I think. Thanks for joining us for a bit. It's good to see you.
If I X out of this, am I going to kick you out of the broadcast?
No, you shouldn't. Should be good.
Right. Well, if it happens, you know where it came from, and I promise you that it wasn't intentional.
From the Dungeon in Dumont, it's nice to see you, Seth.
I'll see you guys. Be well.
Restful
good night, sir. Oh, that was a good surprise. I literally it was one of those surprise Royal Rumble. You watch the Royal Rumble every year wrestling, and you'd have a couple surprises. You'd hear a theme music you don't recognize, and that was kind of what happened. I saw SC, but I couldn't see. There was no visual yet, and I was "What's going?" Yeah, it could have been Stone Cold, but I didn't hear any glass break, so it wasn't Stone Cold. But from the top rope, it was Seth Canner. Great.
I appreciate Casey educating us that the Bills lost for a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I never knew that.
That's
appreciate
right.
it. So I
think this is their time. I think they are the ones that can.
I do, and I said that to Casey last night. I said, I don't like to use the destiny word, but there's always every now and then a team. It's their year, and you just have that feeling. For the Bills, I have that feeling. Going into Sunday, and God, could you imagine what their fans are going to do? Holy shit!
I mean, there's going to be it's going to be like NASCAR haulers on the way down to Tampa. And that's, I think, the other thing.
Enough tables in this fucking universe for this. There's not.
See, that's the other thing. The NFL has never had the host city of the Super Bowl have their home team play in that game.
Yeah.
So now this is probably the closest they've ever come to that.
Yeah.
With Tampa Bay, and I mean everybody knows, everybody knows Tom Brady wants to go to the Super Bowl, all that bullshit. But I think the Packers and the Bills, it's the changing of the guard. I get it. There's other storylines in play too, though. Like, can Patrick Mahomes play through pain? Is he hurt? Is he going to be the second coming? And I mean, who knows? I mean, I'll tell you, I forget who's the backup there again. It's
I don't even know. Tyrod Taylor? No,
Chad Henne. Is he the guy? I forget who played the. He looked great.
Yeah.
Obviously against a weakened defense, but in Cleveland, they were almost there, but they just didn't have the nuts, I think, to get over the finish line. Yeah, it is Chad Henne. See, right. I would have loved to see Cleveland play Buffalo. Holy fuck, that would have been like the fucking, fraternity row throwdown between Baker and Josh Allen, and I think it may happen again in the future. Yep. But and the thing is does when OBJ comes back next season for the Browns, do they get better or do they get worse? Yeah. I don't know, but right now, I mean, if Diggs can carry the offense and Singletary goes 75, and Josh Allen has a touchdown, put those three things in your parlay.
Yeah. Speaking of, as I look on the corner of my eye, because I have money on this Lakers in the parlay here against the Bucks. Does anyone play defense in the NBA anymore?
No. Where have you been?
I mean, should you just bet every over in the book? Because first of all, these guys are highly talented. They don't miss shots anymore. But nobody is trying to even stop them. Uncontested in the lane, uncontested from the 3-point line. They're not even trying.
There is a global pandemic in play, so
it's like an all-star game every game.
Yeah. Well, not watching the Knicks, it's not.
No. That's tonight. Yeah. They're in there as well.
Look, can we stay on football for a minute here?
Yeah. So where are we at? I mean, we got
to the Bills winning. Okay, is if the defense can stop Kelsey, right, and Tyreek, and I think they'll have an easier time with the wide receivers than they are with Kelsey.
Yeah.
And if Allen can get outside the pocket and do some things, and Diggs can get open. The other thing was, I think last week Cole Beasley was held to like 0 catches. So, Baltimore did a nice job bottling him up over the middle because he did the same thing he did in Dallas. He's a Edelman prototype, right? Quick, white, short guy that runs over the middle. So I think if Cole Beasley has 5 catches, you're looking good. If Singletary can move the ball on 3rd and long, 3rd and short maybe. I think if Allen scores a touchdown, then that kid wants to fucking score a touchdown. I mean, and again, like the Chiefs are not like immortal right here. They were a touchdown and a fumble away from losing to the fucking Browns in their own house in front of 18,000 fans while defending the Super Bowl in a divisional playoff game. So I think if they come out, I don't think the Bills have to play their game, right? They can't let maybe they should let Andy Reid dictate the game, because they'll run out of time and call 5 timeouts or something like Chris Webber. But, I think, Allen, Singletary, Diggs, it's not rocket science. Cover the middle. Kelsey will kill you. If they can bottle him up and keep him down, so be it.
Yeah, and this game, I would suspect maybe the last possession game. I know Seth had mentioned maybe the first game, but this game to me is the last possession game.
Well, I mean, the difference between the first game and this game is that this has the potential to go over, 53.5 or whatever it is. If it turns into a shootout, like I agree with Casey here that if you rattle Mahomes, knock him down a couple times, especially if he has this pinched nerve, concussion, whatever it is, get in his face, fuck him up. Don't let him run around. That's how these guys burn you.
Yep.
I don't know if Edwards-Helaire is available to play.
He was practicing today, I guess, is the word I saw.
I mean, he adds a component, to the team, obviously, but we'll see. I would love. I would love to see the Bills go to the Super Bowl. I think it would be a great story, and nobody's really. I think people are over the Chiefs, not over it, but they've seen that show and they know what they're getting. I mean. I don't think there's a whole lot aside from the changing of the guard mentality. If you have Brady and Mahomes in the Super Bowl in Tampa, I think you want Aaron Rodgers doing Aaron Rodgers things with some, half-assed receiving core-ish.
From a ratings perspective, the NFL is very happy with this Final Four, right?
Oh, I mean, I think they're just happy they finished the fucking season.
Oh, wow. You ain't kidding because they struggled. They weren't. God, I'd still say baseball did the worst job, but they did not have to cancel or do another week. They're able to get everything in. That's pretty impressive.
Well, I mean, and the NFL is the NFL. It's the king, right? I mean, we've talked about this before.
Yep, they weren't going to stop.
And I mean, they've been through rapists and wife beaters and murderers and it's nothing a China virus they couldn't handle. So, my point, I'm obviously being facetious in a way that's not appropriate, but, the NFL wasn't going to let this get in the way of finishing the season. I mean, they have so much invested and, they got lucky that they didn't try to, experiment with like the Super Bowl in New York again because they wouldn't allow any fans. So now it's going to be in Florida where they don't give a fuck. I don't know how many people are going to be at the Super Bowl, but.
So the Bills, by the way, on FanDuel, they're plus 350 for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I know.
Not at all.
I got them at plus 600.
Ooh.
So, I don't have, I don't have. Let's see here. I've got, and that's what we can review last weekend too because our picks were very good for Saturday, Sunday not so much. Bills were, let's see here, plus 600, and that was on the 15th. Just scrolling through my long list of failures. The Bucks were plus 1,000 back.
Oh wow!
When was that? That was January 9th.
What?
So
wow!
Got $10 on that little wager right there, and then took the Seahawks at the outset, and then the Packers are 450.
Okay, those are all good. Really good.
So you got, out of that, the longest shot, obviously, for some reason, is Tampa. I could cash out $7.57 right now on that wager. But last weekend we didn't see the overs tip. The took the Bills and the Packers on the points. That was a W. Sunday was a different story. Had both of the losers. So. Not what you can do about that, but wanted the Browns, wanted Drew Brees to make it one more game before his body fell apart, but it is what it is. So I think we pick the picks are in, right? We're gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Packers in the under and the Bills in the over.
Packers under, Bills over. Oh man, the over-unders always scare me. Huh?
I hate picking against Tom Brady here.
I know. It's a tough.
Like the Bills. So the Bills money line is plus 145. I would obviously take that. It beats 104 with the points, 3 points. Like I said, that's probably going to end up at 2. I think money late is on like Saturday, Sunday morning is going to come in on Buffalo. Just because people are like, fuck it, why not, right? But the Packers and the Bucks, it's such a toss-up. The Bucks are still on the money line underdogs at 160.
Yep.
And the Packers money line is giving 186. So that kind of tells you something that, the money is pushing towards Green Bay, which is surprising.
Yeah.
I think in that
the emotional
early money, right? And that, this isn't,
the emotional bettors would bet Brady. Like, that there's such a large following that is going to bet just because of Brady.
Yeah. It's tough. This is a tough game to call. And I mean, everyone's going to bet what they want to bet. But I mean, I'm with Seth. I feel like you got to push the Packers at home.
Wow.
Then again, I mean, we've seen the Packers fold like a tent in championship games. But I just feel like this year they quietly just beat the shit out of everybody. And this isn't 2008. This isn't 2013. This is different. And, this is in a tough NFC. Maybe not an NFC Central or North, but, or, whatever, NFC North. But, they're a good team. And, they've been doing it with, some – their receivers aren't like, marquees. They're not great fantasy players. I mean, Vontaze, what is it? Scantling, he's, I don't know. Shit, it's going to be fun to watch. And, I think gambling on this one's actually going to raise the anxiety as opposed to make it more fun. But you can always hedge with English Premier League soccer if you'd like.
Oh, don't even with the soccer. Oh,
huge upset today, by the way, in EPL. If you had Burnley over Liverpool, 88th minute penalty shot. Burnley takes down the defending champion Liverpool, whatever the fuck they are. 1-0, big win. I'd like to know what the odds on that were.
Oh my god. You with the soccer. Well, is there a soccer lock would you say of the weekend?
Well, there's only one game. There's only one game this weekend. It's Aston Villa and Newcastle.
Newcastle. Okay, I'm looking at that now, and it looks like it's Newcastle favorite here.
Yeah, I would take Villa or the tie.
Really?
But again, who the fuck knows? I mean, it's one game this weekend. That's kind of weak. Looks like, this is a weird. The EPL. There's a lot of games in December and January, and you also have the FA Cup overlapping that. So Tuesday, there's a good number of games. Palace plus 200 over West Ham. I think looks good. Let's see. I'm just blowing through this. That's a bad bet. I mean, I would take Southampton at 200 over Arsenal. Arsenal is on they're on a 4 out of 5 win streak right now. So, Arsenal came out of the gate like a wounded horse and kind of stumbled around a little bit, and they've really hit their stride. They did tie Crystal Palace 2 weeks ago in a 0-0 affair. Southampton has been playing marginal soccer up and down. They're in the middle of the table, what they call the table. It's the standings. Southampton plus 200 is a flyer there. I like Wolves. The Wolverhampton Wanderers over Chelsea on Wednesday at 340. You could go for it. And then Brighton and Fulham throw in a tie. Why not? Stack it all up. Sheffield has had a show. So Sheffield United plays Manchester United on Wednesday at 3:15 Eastern time. Sheffield had no wins up until 3 weeks ago, and they won 2 back-to-back. The only problem is they're playing Manchester United, who is competing for the top of the heap. So you could take Sheffield plus 1,100 for the fuck of it, but you're probably not gonna. Don't expect to win that in a slam dunk. So feel free to stack all those up, whatever. But Villa this weekend, Saturday, it'll be a nice little warm up. Might I remind you that Tom Brady is 43.
Every time he thought it was Brady's last run, he said, fuck you.
I mean, the thing is if you watch the game on Sunday, it was never more apparent that Brady is one of the purest pocket passers you've ever seen. He doesn't move, and if he has time, that's trouble.
Here's my question, because Brady is in this same era. Do we not appreciate Aaron Rodgers enough? Because they haven't made it to the Super. They have not been the Super Bowl presence because they had a horrible coach, and they haven't set him up for success as a team. Do we not appreciate Aaron Rodgers enough? Because because Aaron Rodgers is a bad man. You know, like
well, I also think that
so good.
Minus the discount double check and all the State Farm commercials, I think that Aaron Rodgers was a wee bit misunderstood as well as kind of an asshole.
Yep.
Like Phillip Rivers is an asshole, right? Aaron Rodgers, he's out there banging Danica Patrick and he's running, he's like sneaky dating Olivia, whatever the fuck, like wild.
Oh yeah. She's nuts too.
I mean, like, Aaron fucking Rodgers, like, and Green Bay is a very regional team with a lot of reach, right? But if you don't follow football, you're like, I've heard of the Packers, but I don't know a lot about it. I think Aaron Rodgers is respected, but since they never really, they lost to the Giants. I mean, that was Favre, right? That was the changing of the guard. And then his first playoff game in that divisional round, they were 15-1 in 2012, and they went in there and he fucking dropped an egg, and the Giants destroyed the Packers in that game. Hakeem Nicks had 3 touchdowns, right? I mean, it just so Aaron Rodgers leads a 15-1 team, a home game in a divisional round, wins the division, gets a bye, right? And then shows up and gets blown out by the Giants, who, yes, later won the Super Bowl. But, that's not a great way to start your playoff career.
Yeah.
And, the belt thing and, was, Donald Driver and, the guys around him, were they better than him? I don't know. I mean, I appreciate Aaron Rodgers now more than I think I did before, but I don't know.
And that's the thing. It's so funny because he's right. Like when the Giants were in the playoffs, fucking performance out of Eli, never a question. Never a question. If the Giants were in the playoffs, you knew they were going to be dangerous.
Right. In the second time around in 2012 and 13, the MVP for the Giants in that playoff run was Hakeem Nicks. Period. That guy made plays. It all boils down to, again, I think he had a touchdown in the Super Bowl. That was a big man, went to University of North Carolina, just like Michael Jordan, who could move. And there were 2 plays in that game in the NFC divisional round in 2013. The first, he catches the ball over the middle, bounces off a guy, and then takes off and burns the secondary for a touchdown for 55 yards. And then he makes that miraculous catch at halftime when Coughlin decided not to go for the kick and went for the end zone, and Eli drops it right in his breadbasket, right? But he got up and he had 3 receivers. It was him, Cruz, and Manningham standing there, and Nicks over 5 guys. You just see these 2 giant hands show up. Remember the size of his hands?
Oh my god!
So you see the gloves come up, and he just grabs the ball, stuffs it against his helmet, and falls down, scores a touchdown, and basically ends the Packers season at halftime of a divisional playoff game. And then, he's just they don't make receivers like that anymore. I mean, Des Bryant and that kind of model.
The Megatron model.
Yeah, right. Randy Moss was a fast, large, athletic, physical receiver.
Ocho Cinco.
Right. Those kind of receivers.
By the way, he is a top-notch Twitter follow. He is
hilarious. On Twitter?
He is fucking hilarious. That man is so funny.
No. I mean, he did change his last name to Ocho Cinco.
I know. He's a trip. He's a good dude. He eats a lot of McDonald's, though. So
you know what? He can. He probably has great metabolism.
We had a consensus this evening, and our consensus was, so just to recap, it was take the money line for the Packers, or are we taking points?
No, we're taking points with the Packers.
Points. Seth wanted money line.
I would say if it goes lower than 3, take the money line. But rather, if it's 3.5 or whatever, I would take it, and run with it. Yeah. Take the under.
And then
if you're into that,
we were taking money line Bills.
Yeah, I mean, just because if you're going to take the Bills in that game, you might
take the money line. Yeah,
take them outright because you're betting on them to win the game.
Yeah.
So if you're that kind, if this were back in the wild card round, maybe take the points. But now just go the fuck for it because. And, why not sneak in? I don't know what they're getting right now, but I mean, why not sneak in a championship?
I would. That's what I said. It was 300. It was 300.
All right. So, I mean, why not throw? If you're that confident in the Bills winning,
I would.
Sunday, you might as well throw a couple of ducats on the on the Super Bowl because
that's what I'm gonna do.
You got to expand your value there. And I mean, I hit last year.
350 on FanDuel plus 350.
Great. I mean, and I had a free bet last year from DraftKings, and I hit that with the Chiefs in the under. I think it was, and then you're getting free money. But I mean, after this, your betting opportunities, like there's really nothing like the first couple of weeks of the NFL season, like getting to throw a few bucks down on a football game. It's so much fun because there's so fucking many of them. And you don't really know, right? And now here we are 17, 18, 19 weeks later since the beginning of the season, no shutdowns, no stoppages, maybe some, reassignments and some relocation.
No, we got through it.
But like I'm still very challenged by this NFC Championship game. Yeah. Like it's not cut and dry. And I think it's just going to depend on, how Rodgers and how Brady play. And if I think to Casey's point about Mahomes, like if the Green Bay defense can get to Brady, like the dude cannot move out of the pocket, right? So if he's going to look to dump it off or whatever, if you can get him moving side to side, you're going to be in good shape. If you let him stand there, you're fucked.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So
Packers under, take him with the points. Bills probably over, and the money line.
It should be a fun Sunday. That's for sure.
Oh, it's going to be great. I've already tried to think about it. So we have a fryer and an air fryer now.
Oh, wait, you still have the regular? Wait, you have that regular fryer, you said?
Yes, it was a wedding gift from a very good friend. And
I remember the regular fryer. No, that was before. Wait, that's a different fryer then. Remember the fryer that we fried and stuff in?
Oh, that's the same one.
Oh, okay.
And I also have the air fryer now, so.
Oh, fantastic!
Gotta watch out for the whole cholesterol. So,
Jeopardy?
No, it's a watch. So.
That's like
tracking device for my children.
Oh, that's good.
It is a game changer. You know what? And the funny thing is, it's so easy to use. So you just put the wings in the basket, hit the button, and off it goes.
Yep. Oh, the wings in the air fryer are my favorite thing. They're very good. And then just put your favorite sauce on there, and you're ready to go.
Great. So, we got to decide, here in the Diamond household, what we're going to do about football food on Sunday because it's going to be effing cold up here. And we're, ready for fucking championship Sunday.
See, I know my aunt's a good cook. It's true. Everything she makes is amazing.
Obviously, she's reading this in case you need to get out of the doghouse or something. So. Casey, you spent too much time at District 96 again.
No, she
don't forget you owe me a bar tab.
He does. Can't wait till we're allowed to do that again.
Well, now that the blessed event has occurred, find the timing funny. Like Massachusetts on Monday, we'll go back. The 9:30 cutoff for businesses will end.
Oh, okay.
And capacities are still at 25%, but all of a sudden everybody sees some light at the end of the tunnel.
Is Trillium open?
Trillium is open for I don't know if they're open in Boston for pours.
Okay.
As in POURS. They're never open for pours. Well, it's true. It's $5 a can. I mean, it gets a little old after a while. And I think their place around Fenway is closed, but they're definitely I'll tell you though, these guys have got to figure it out because I've ordered delivery from them where they come right to your door.
Yeah.
It's not cheap. And they just leave the case and you got to buy a certain amount and all that. And they'll leave it right on your door as long as they can prove that you're 21. Next time the guy comes, I'm just going to send my 6-year-old out there and have him, accept my case of beer. But they're very smart about it, and they'll text you because they do regions around the Boston metropolitan area. And they'll be like, "Hey, tomorrow, coming back to your neighborhood, get your order in." Blah blah blah. They're very smart about it. Fucking Chili's is open, man.
We're ready to go. So
two for one.
Almost our 1-year anniversary of the last time we saw each other in person. I really hope we can again meet up and go to Haymaker and then a Rangers game sometime in the near future. And the other place we went to before Haymaker that night, the bar. Which one was it? The bar before
Ginger Man.
Yeah, Ginger Man was really good too. So
the Ginger Man is OG, along with the Blind Tiger. We didn't make it down there because it's too far from the Garden. But those are the OG beer bars in Manhattan.
From OG beer to pierogies to meeting up with boxer that got his head cleaned in a couple weeks later. His head knocked in. It was a great weekend.
It's good that the pandemic actually happened because we were considering going to the fight, and that would have been a severe disappointment. Poor Adam.
Pretty sure the Ranger game was a super spreader event.
Well, so here's I think the most telling part of that weekend, this was February 8th.
I was getting over COVID then because I was hacking up a lung for sports.
Seth shows up. He's like, breathing fire. My brother is around, whatever. And we go to Chinatown at 11 o'clock at night where it's usually gangbusters and there's nobody there.
We should have known.
Well, apparently they did. But, have never.
When there's no wait for a table at WoHop, you should be concerned.
Yeah, man, that was crazy. I agree, Casey. It's gonna suck. Like there will be places that close, but if you're in the market, this isn't gonna last forever, presumably, right? So if you're in the market, real estate's gonna be mad cheap, and there's gonna be distributors looking for new customers. So,
so if you want to open up a bar and finally get the empire going, let me know.
Yeah, well, DC is a different story, but maybe, and up here would be tough. But I don't think it would be hard to, it's like I think what I found different about here, and this is, I'm not a townie by any stretch of the imagination, but like around where I live, it's there's one like straight up legit sports bar that I would go to watch an out of town team like that. That's not fucking Wild Wings. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, I love the Nanuet Chili's, love that bar, 2 for 1s.
Yeah.
But you gotta have like a place where you can go where like you got the ticket or you got like the MLB package or whatever floats your boat. The impact of this, it goes to show there was a soccer bar, in Arlington, Virginia, that would open at 3 a.m. if there was some game in like, Timbuktu that people were going to watch. And they would, fans would go there in the middle of the night to watch their teams, and that bar closed for good. About 4 or 5 months ago. It's like, fuck, and hopefully these places, I'm not a barstool hugger by any stretch of the imagination. And, they're obviously in the same space and do it a lot better than we do. But what Dave Portnoy is doing here is fucking unbelievable with the Barstool Fund. So
I think they're over $25 million in funds.
It's insane. And they say, the Parting Glass, which is an institution in Saratoga Springs, during track season and not during track season, was days from closing until Barstool, hit them with that infusion, and they're going to stay open. And then when we can go back to the track and drink ourselves stupid and lose all of our money, we can go to the Parting Glass.
I still think that Saratoga is definitely doable this year. Midsummer, mid-July to August, I think you're going to see where we're gonna be able to go to Saratoga. That's what I think our big
hey,
post-COVID event.
100 million vaccines in 100 days.
I think you'll see fans. I think you'll see some sort of fans in most baseball ballparks for most of the season. Honestly, I think by June, July, August, I think you'll see most of the teams somehow. Like even Cuomo was saying, get a rapid test at the gate or something. I think you're going to see that. I think you're going to see mostly baseball. I don't know about hockey and basketball. I don't know about indoor. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to see that because the season's already in full swing. But I think you're going to see baseball. I think we'll get to the horse track. I'm really loving your idea of Saratoga. I love it. I love that idea. I've never done it. You've done it, right? Is that what
I've done it many times, and I've done it from, and I'm not shying. I'm not talking out of school. I've done it from like the bougie, like VIP bullshit, like all the way down to like the dirt ass degenerate shit. So I love that place inside and out. I wish I could get there more. I wish I took. I think the thing was obviously back when I lived in Albany, it was the beginning of my career. I don't think I appreciated it, obviously, because I went there so less frequently than I would if I could now. And obviously the pandemic taught us some things, and being able to watch Naira live in my backyard was great. But being there is an experience unto itself. And
the Airbnbs are available. I did some research.
Oh yeah.
We won't have any problems.
Just don't pick the weekend of a Dave Matthews or a Fish
No,
concert, and you'll be fine.
No, it will be great, and I think if I'm a betting man too, I mean, we know NASCAR will provide some activity. So
yeah, I mean NASCAR. I mean, I'm sure they've already tried to figure it out. I mean, to be honest, like when they were the first real major spectator sport to come back, and
they had fans. They did have fans, and most tracks at the end of the season.
What was fascinating about, I mean, they were innovators in a way because these teams are traveling from North Carolina into other states while technically
and they did it.
I mean, when you think about it, talking about the United States restricting interstate travel is almost asinine.
Yeah, you can.
But obviously at the time it was prudent-ish. They're not a political statement, but they were having trouble. Like they're like, oh, people are going to relocate to your state for 3 days, 4 days from North Carolina. And they're like, no, you're not. And they were like, whoa, hold on there, Chief. So, they had to work around those things, and they ended up pulling it off. And I think it set an example for other major sports. And obviously, Canadians have a different problem. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when baseball does come back, because like Toronto FC during the MLS season was playing in Hartford. You've got an all-Canadian division in the NHL, and who knows where good night, Mr. Wisłowski. You don't know where the Blue Jays are going to end up.
Yeah, I mean it's the whole, and then they didn't even want to allow the NHL to do their Canada conference division this year in some of the provinces. So Canada's going to be a tough one again for the Blue Jays, because teams would have to fly in to play them. So I'm not sure how that's going to work
they
out.
Would have to travel outside of Canada, and I don't. The border is still closed. Well, for all intents and purposes, at least that one is. Again, not a political statement, but there is a concern about that. I think if they could play in Buffalo again, if Buffalo wins the Super Bowl, the Blue Jays are playing in Buffalo this season.
Yeah, and honestly, I think they'll have support. Like the people will show up and throw themselves in the fucking tables out in the parking lot for the Toronto Blue Jays. I don't know, but the revamped and rebuilt Toronto Blue Jays. Oh, okay. So about that. Listen, I know their pitching is still suspect, but they have a gluttony of bats now. I don't think they're done yet. I think they're going to get some pitching via trade or free agency, but they are coming to play, and I am concerned. I mean, what is your feeling now? If you look at the AL East and the moves that Toronto's made in the last week, right? They get Springer. So they didn't get Brantley. That was a fake rumor, like the Castillo to the Yankees rumor a couple of nights ago.
That was all fake. Football. That was the problem. Everybody was like trying to watch football.
The baseball reporters are out of control right now because they're usually really good. Not so good right now. So DJ goes back to the Yankees, thank God. But the Yankees haven't done. They're basically the same team, right? Minus Tanaka, add Kluber. The Yankees are the same team they were last year with the same problems they had. And here come
J-Hat.
Right. Here come the Blue Jays, getting the best hitter on the market. DJ was the best hitter on the market, but Springer after that. What in the hell? If you look at the AL East, they also picked up bullpen help with Kirby Yates this week. If you look at the AL East now with Tampa not getting better, they may be worse.
I haven't heard anything about what they're doing. So,
they slide their role. Here's the problem with Tampa.
The Nats are shaping.
But Tampa slides their guys in. They always have another kid to bring up or something. So it's hard to project Tampa. They play this fucking baseball voodoo, right?
Yeah, and I mean the starter and the opener and all that. But I mean, from the Yankees' point of view, so you lose Happ and you bring in Kluber and you lose Tanaka. That's going to open up a position for Montgomery.
Let's say the Yankees are a wash, right? They're the same.
Well, what I'm getting, I'm saying so in the rotation, right? So you're going to have Cole and then presumably I guess Severino maybe.
Not until like July or August. Herman is back. Severino's coming off of Tommy John.
Kluber's
Montgomery
coming off of surgery too, and I mean, granted, he had a Cy Young season
coming off of surgery. Holy shit! Oh my god. Devy's not proven. Schmidt's not proven.
And obviously, you're going to have, if Major League Baseball has their way, they're going to have a regular spring training with fans or not. I think you're going to see Davey round into shape. I think Garcia could be a back end starter this year.
But my point, but back to the thing. Yeah, they could be good. Yes, they may be good. They may be very good. The problem is the Yankees window here started in 17. Oh my God, they're getting good faster than we thought. They bring in Cole. The window is now, it's not a big window, and nothing is being done to push the team over the edge. Again, we've gone on ad nauseum about the problem here. Nothing's been done to address the problem. If they don't get a legitimate number 2 or 1A starter, this team's not winning anything. They may not even win a division.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they play, well, I mean, Casey's right. They play like IBM. I mean, you got to let these guys let the players play, right? I mean, it's boring. But now you're going to have, presumably you're going to have a full season. There are 2 teams in the division that will not compete. So you're looking at a 3-team race in the division, and it'll be interesting. Hopefully they get to play other teams that are not in their division, so they're not fucking playing. So, I mean, the whole thing with the shortened season last year was that the Yankees played Tampa like 90 times, and then in those games they didn't show up, and they pissed away innings, and they played like they were robots, and that was not going to work in a shortened season, right? And it came to roost, and it fucked over everybody, and it made everybody question what's going on. But in the length of a season, I mean, I think the Yankees are built like whoever just said, 90 games, whatever.
Full roster are the Yankees, Tampa, Blue Jays, who on paper right now is the better team in the AL.
I mean, I would take the Yankees in that.
I would too. But my point is winning the division. First of all, it's not a runaway by any stretch, right? It's not a runaway. Secondly, winning the division is not enough. This should be a World Series baseball team, and they're not. They're simply not right now. They're not. And that's all there is to it.
Yeah, I agree. And there's who knows what's going to happen in the season again, coming off of last year. The Dodgers got the monkey off their back, and they're stacked, and they're going to be stuck with money and all that other stuff. So,
speaking of the Dodgers, I think they're mad about DJ possibly not picking up a big player. They're gonna land Bauer.
So be it. I mean, I still think the Dodgers, I mean, they won the World Series. Great. So you have, and you have a very good lineup, but you can compete against them. Baseball season is still, we got to get through the Super Bowl. We got to get through the 500 and we can start talking about, spring training. If there's going to be
a lot can happen. And I get it. A lot can happen the next 2 to 3 weeks before and way before spring training. I get it. But my problem is I'm not confident. I'm not confident those moves will be made based on the last couple of years. I'm just not.
Well, I mean, I don't really know how much trouble, the Yankees and all this, up and down bullshit with DJ was really about, and if they were trying to, drive down the price or drive it up or whatever. But I mean, he re-signed and they got him for 6 years. He did exactly what we wanted him to do, and they extended him to the end of his career. Yeah. Whether that ends up working out in the back end, this guy is not fucking Jacoby Ellsbury. He's not no. I mean, he won a batting title in a shortened season, and he's a fucking MVP candidate.
Term doesn't bother me. 4 of those years are going to be great. The last 2, they'll be what they are. And it won't be a guy who doesn't want to be out there. DJ's a freaking machine. He's not even human. And even if his talents erode as he gets older, the guy's not bagging it in. He's going to still thrive to be great. So Aaron Boone wouldn't even be good at that.
He'd start and then break a finger, but I mean, I don't want to make fun of the Mets because,
no, I don't. I do, but I don't.
Yeah,
real quick.
I think what we should do in any way, or obviously Steve Cohen, who's a sneaky little motherfucker, wanted that guy, whatever his name is, off the team. He goes up and digs up something from 2016 and is like, look at this fucking dirtbag, you're fired. And he does it on Twitter, which is fucking amazing. And he doesn't.
I like the way it was. All things aside, I like the way Cohen handled it.
He wanted a clean house. I get it. And if you do that and the guy's being a dick, you dig.
Oh no, he hired that guy. What are you talking about? He
didn't hire that, whatever. But I was saying,
he hired Porter too.
Okay, I know. But if it didn't work out, like if it wasn't going your direction,
no, that's not what happened.
Okay,
they had no idea.
Well, Casey, you don't want to take bets on the show, bro.
Ooh. Okay. All right. Okay. I like this. I like this wagering. I like this. Okay. Let's all get in on this. Let's do it. So
I'll take it.
He's taking the Mets. You're taking the Yankees, correct?
I'm protecting my investment in Bar Tab.
Are you going? What is happening here? You have the last.
Well, this isn't going to happen until obviously September, right? So we got some time. I'll put a case of Treehouse beer on this wager that the Yankees finish with a better record than the Mets.
I don't know what Casey's going to send you bagels or something.
That's fine. Well, apparently, his wife's a good cook. Send me meals, man.
So back in the American League real quick, listen, there's a lot of terrible baseball teams. This is where the Yankees get lucky and they look good, but I would say the White Sox, top notch. They're building a hell of a franchise here, but let's not forget who their manager is, what the fuck they've done. This could just go really bad with Tony La Russa. Minnesota hasn't done much to work on their shortfalls, and they're Minnesota. Let's be honest. Oakland, I love Oakland. They'll always be my little team right here, but they're not better. They're not even close to them. 3 teams in the AL East.
Minnesota of the West.
I think of the 4 best teams in the American League right now, 3 of them are in the AL East.
Well, this is nothing new.
No, Tampa, Yankees, and Toronto and Chicago are the 4 best teams in the league right now.
Yeah, well, no,
I think they're all better than Houston too. So I don't want to. Someone's going to say something. Rudy's probably still watching. He's about to say something. Just don't forget the gift I gave you when you took over Austin, Rudy. If you're still watching, I hope you have it and you enjoy that gift that I left.
All right. Here's the deal. Casey, I'll put up a case
Irish Mist.
Not the Irish Mist. I'll put up a case of Treehouse beer, which is about the equivalent of a bottle of Johnny Blow.
Ooh.
How's that? You can
by the way, he's right here. He's right.
No, football, man.
Because
college. Okay, we're talking about pros.
College,
college football without the bands.
No. But pros, I'm fine watching. Hockey, I'm fine watching. Baseball was awful watching without fans. Awful. And you have
But if you're not there, I think maybe I just watch it differently. I love when the fans get up on a 2-strike count in the 8th inning.
They've got
it getting up at the game-winning fucking 3rd down stand.
The production, for some reason on the NFL, it doesn't hit me because I'm not seeing it. Baseball, it's hard. Fans are always in your visual. Mm-hmm. They're always in your visual. And the production in the empty stadiums last year was terrible.
Well, it's interesting to say that too, because somebody made reference in the national title game or one of the playoff games.
Yeah.
That you don't hear the bands and stuff. And I didn't really think about it until someone called it out. I've been to a number of D1 games and it's enjoyable and you get the local scene and all that. And the NFL, of course, the NFL is a TV.
Yeah, it's a TV sport. I'd rather watch it on my 70-inch TV or whatever than go to an NFL game. And that's the only sport.
That's why. This is why EPL is so is like a breath of fresh air for an American sports fan, because the clock runs. There are no commercials until halftime, or in the second half. 2 hours, poof, the game's over. And it's basically their season is like a round robin tournament that just lasts for 6 months.
But I thought the same about baseball being a background noise in the TV. Then how come the fans affected us so much? Because it's true. I was like, this is going to be fine. I don't watch every pitch. It's background noise. And then it was fucking terrible.
Because I think in a baseball stadium, even if you're there, like there is that hum, like in the stadium, or like after a big like a 500-foot home run, there's that buzz that you hear in the stadium that like is missed in not having the crowd.
A baseball crowd is very unique,
and I mean, especially in the AL East with the proximity, and the players, or rather the fans, are the closest to the players really in baseball, right? So like if you're getting on JD Martinez, or like how the Red Sox used to get on Paul O'Neill, like they're right there, and it's like palpable. It changes the perception of the game.
That's it. I think you hit it, and you also. It's very unique. The fan experience is unique because the stadium experience is unique, and they're all different. The other thing is every pitch you see the fans behind. Every pitch you see them in the view. It had a big effect on me last year, and it just didn't. I didn't expect it, and it did. And I'm not looking forward to watching those games this year without fans. If that's the case, I don't know.
But you said you seem to have that story. I didn't see it, where MLB wants to do rapid testing at the door and all that.
That was Cuomo. That was a New York thing. That was Cuomo talking about reopening arts and entertainment, including sports facilities, with potentially testing fans before they're allowed to go in. And if the technology is there, if the money's there to invest in it, that's your best way, right? So. You could do that. That would be completely fine.
But that becomes, so like I got a test the other day, a rapid test, right, where you get results in 20 minutes, and then they still ran a PCR test after it. That fucking 10 months into this ordeal makes me very nervous.
I'm not saying you do a rapid test and you let what
else are you gonna do? You got to sit there and wait for it to come back, right, before you can go inside. Because if you're sick, you got to get the fuck out of there.
You got to wait 15, 20 minutes, and then you're still only doing like 20-25% of fans, probably.
Right, unless there's some magic Biden fucking test I don't know about. Like, what are you gonna fucking do? Right. And I mean, if you're talking about putting 57,000 people in Yankee Stadium, it's a clusterfuck on a regular Saturday. I think it's
you're not doing testing with 57,000 people. You're doing like 20.
Okay, but all right. So even half of that, right? Yeah. So this is like the whole, like over the summer, we took the kids down to the Mystic Aquarium in Connecticut, right? And you have to walk through a box truck and a container, right? And they run the the thermal scan on you, right? So it's like, if you got a fever, get the fuck out. Like, that's what it's gonna be. But I don't know. I mean, am I okay with that? I don't know. But I mean, I see these fucking games, and there's no way in hell that there were only 17,000 people at
the Arrowhead? Yeah, I know. There are at least 25,000 people.
It made me like when I saw like the whole bowl, the lower bowl at the Superdome full. I was like, it was like I'm sitting on my couch over here. And I don't, in my recliner, and I was like, yikes, I'm nervous because all those people are there. They don't give a fuck because they live in Louisiana.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Say it to the playoffs, man.
Ooh, the Lakers are up 76-67. The third. I care right now. I care.
I mean, I can't say, I think, could you go to a game if you didn't feel well and you had tickets to a Yankee game a year and a half ago? Would you go? Yes. I mean, that's what it's going to come to, really. Right, is that once this thing is out of control as it is. So if you're talking about large crowds, there will just come a point where this becomes an annual immunization or whatever it is.
So you've set a precedent now, and then so every time there's some kind of influenza outbreak, we're back at square one. Like
the shocking thing here is that there's no answer for it, and it was killing people, right? And the thing is that. I mean, we could have this argument in a non-political way all day, but it was like, okay, now we're a year into this. Things have changed, and there are shots out there somewhere. There are ways to go. There's a rollout strategy apparently. And what is it going to take to get to baseline normal? And maybe that we just don't. I don't know.
All I know is when we're able to go and meet up at Ginger Man or Haymaker and then go get ourselves some seats at a hockey game, that'd be tremendous.
Well, I think it's also going to be interesting too. like in Manhattan for something like this, like will the Ginger Man maintain like a patio on where it is, 37th Street or 33rd
Now,
Street?
I do believe that there's some positives that will come out of some of this in the way we run businesses, the way we do things. I really love the idea of New York City having expanded outdoor things and less vehicular traffic in some areas. I think that's really tremendous idea. And it's not about, for me, pollution or whatever, but quality of life. It would be nice to shut down some streets, have pedestrian thoroughfares, be able to sit out on patios and tables and chairs in the middle of the street. I do really like those ideas. I think those things are very good.
To solve congestion pricing.
When
you can get from 88th Street to 10th Street in like
But there's some things infrastructure-wise, hopefully the next mayor does at a serious level, not willy-nilly, not out of his ass, but he does actually look into some quality of life improvements for the city, right?
Call Andrew Yang and you tell him what you think.
Well, I'm sure he'd be happy to pick up the phone.
I mean, to the point where, people obviously, like, sports would not have come back in the way that it did. I mean, the nut that all these teams lost in
Casey, it's January. That's not what I'm getting. I'm getting at when April, May, June come around. It would really be nice to have those options.
Casey, you know what? So this is exactly to my point: is that infrastructure projects cost money, and all of the especially these sports leagues, and bars, and restaurants, and wait till people file their taxes this year. It's going to be like a huge kick in the ass. Not to say that the federal government's not going to reap huge, tax revenues, but I mean, it's going to be hard. And, I'm not going to again argue this from a political point of view, but, they're going to, all of the things you just named, transit, streets, tunnels, like they're all going to have to be subsidized because tolls are down and everything else. I don't know, man. It doesn't create revenue though. If nobody uses them, the only revenue ends up in construction companies' pockets.
And a big so I don't know where so everyone's like
which may not be a bad thing. Don't get me wrong.
The city's broke, state's broke, and meanwhile there's a new Port Authority bus terminal being projected.
We have a new post office that took 8,000 years and that turned into a train station.
The new transit hub. So there's plenty of resources.
And I mean, there's no doubt across, we've learned this now, like from a year of sports and all major leagues, with no fans, or limited fans, whatever is. I mean, what an economic driver all of these sports, professional sports,
and
college sports. No, I mean, I get that argument. And, you've got to find a way to bring these people back versus, I mean, you've gone through one full revolution, without fans pouring money into the local economy. Think about it. Like we went to that game back in February on a Friday. So not only did you have the commuting crowd, but you had the Ranger crowd and the Sabres crowd for that matter that was in town. And now, you've got neither.
Well, think about when we go to, anywhere, right? We go to Nashville, right? Other Ranger fans go to Nashville. It wasn't just us. And we go for the weekend when we pump money into the economy in Nashville. We go to the breweries, go to the restaurants, we go to the hotel, and multiply that every game, all these people going, and look what the hell happens when you can't go. Look what happens to the cities. I mean, it's amazing how much money that pumps in. It's absolutely amazing.
It's astronomical. I mean, in terms of, hospitality and food and beverage and entertainment and all sorts of entertainment.
I mean, we sat there at fucking, what was it, Tootsie's?
Tootsie's, 10 o'clock.
We were there for like 5 hours. I swear, I don't know. You were singing, and we were there for 5 hours, and we were just like, well, yes, we'll have another. Yes, we'll have another. Yes, we'll have another. I mean, think about all of people like us that went to Tootsie's that year.
Right. And that was one game. And that was, so that weekend, think about Nashville that weekend. You had the Music City Bowl on Friday. You had the Rangers in town on Saturday.
And you had
You had a Week 17 matchup against a division opponent that was flexed into primetime on Sunday. Like, what a weekend for Nashville.
That town pumped in the cash that weekend.
Right.
Pumped
While
in
they were
cash.
developing 5G to make all of you crazy.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you think about it, those bars open at 10 o'clock for a reason.
We were there at 10:02.
Not that Tootsie. Different Tootsie.
No.
But and then think about the bands that play there, right? And then they're passing the hat.
Oh my god!
It's $20 for a song.
It was funny at the time. We would laugh and be like, "Oh, that's fun. They're taking money." Think about that in a serious aspect now, right?
Well, it was funny because the guy comes to our table and I asked him to play Randy Travis. This is a great thing about Nashville too. I'm like, play a Randy Travis song, and he's like, "You're not going to believe it. The guy up there playing bass. He played bass for Randy Travis on tour for 20 years." You're like, "What the fuck?" Like, where else? I don't know where else you find something like that. Oh. Great city, that Nashville. And I mean, I was all in on the Titans. Too bad that didn't work out.
That was a great trip. I would love to go back to Nashville when we can.
And if they get a baseball team, look out. I mean,
NASCAR is returning to NASCAR is in Nashville this year. That's going to be a long-term thing. I would love to do that trip. Oh, that would be hilarious. If they can get baseball too, do a baseball and NASCAR weekend. But the race is going to be tremendous in that town. It's going to be huge. So yeah, I mean, what a great town.
It all winds together, and I think we can sit here and wax poetic about our trips and wanting to get back out on the road, but it's still it's going to take a few more months, I think, before. I mean, and I try, like, in my real job, like I'm on the road, like you come the full circle with the travel industry, and it's the reckoning, I think, in that regard is past, and we may be on to brighter shores, but it's still gonna be a while. I mean, I should be on the road right now. I shouldn't even be sitting here in front of
you. You said it was funny because I had mentioned something when we were looking at some sales for Vineyard Vines. It's like, oh, a $10 tie, and you're like, I haven't worn a tie since last March.
Yeah, unfortunately, I put on a button down today and tried to button the thing. But then my, Mrs. Diamond has the good sense to say, you're probably not the only one, which is probably true. But I last stepped on an airplane on, I think it was like March 15th or March 12th of 2020. I mean, think about that. I haven't been on an airplane in a year. It's going to be more than a year. It's crazy. But, the fact that you could now, I mean, and I could, there's nothing stopping me, right? But I mean, aside from peace of mind, general health, but I don't know. I mean, like the guy that lived in O'Hare for 3 months. What the fuck was that about?
Right.
But I mean, this is, we're entering a part of the year that I kind of appreciate more, and the days are getting longer. You got the Super Bowl coming up, Championship Sunday, a week off, and then the Super Bowl. Then you'll go into daylight savings, Easter. Daylight savings begins again, so we can finally not drive home in the dark if you are lucky enough to be going to work these days. And then you kick off with the tournament at the same time, which apparently is going to go forward. I know nothing about college basketball, but they're going to try to do a condensed version because, as you know, last year got scrubbed, and that was a real kick in the dick. I can't even imagine the dollar revenue that the NCAA lost on canceling the NCAA tournament, or the men's basketball tournament for that matter. But you want to get there's college basketball on obviously every day. I'm just not tuned into it. I'm not into it yet. Yeah. And I think people are still trying to figure out, like, is it cool? Like, what's going? Like, I mean, what is even happening? I mean, when we've gotten to.
Knows.
And you had college football, and you had fans in certain places and all that, but I don't think there's no fans at these college games, so it's even weirder.
Yeah, college games without fans are weird. By the way, just now, because I'm in day one of this, and I swear this won't be a regular thing, but so the Bruins have scored 3 goals in the third period to tie the Flyers 3-3 with 5 minutes to go. They're plus 850 to win the game, so $5 on it.
Does that include overtime?
That's a straight up winner. Yeah. Interesting. In-game betting is
you're gonna be so fucked.
those of us
in Virginia is just
Virginia today have
they got you all. I mean, it's a good thing I don't live there anymore.
It would be a problem. So yeah, I mean, your state. I mean, until the mafia can the mob can stop owning it.
It is a shame. I mean, this is the same. I've rehashed this repeatedly with folks up here. It's like when I was in college up here in 2002. And the Patriots got good, and there's like the snow game, right? The Tuck Rule game against the Raiders. That was the first. I want to say it was the first Sunday. Because that was a divisional game, right? Or was that an AFC championship? But anyway, no, that was a Saturday night. So it was like the next weekend when they were in the AFC championship game, it was the first Sunday you could buy beer in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, like ever.
Yeah.
And stories of those that grew up here that are older than me, us, whatever, they would drive up to New Hampshire or up to like Methuen and a town like, hey, like what you had to be within a certain distance of the border in Massachusetts to New Hampshire to buy beer on Sundays. Like, I get the whole don't sell beer until noon thing, but like,
that Sunday thing is so old, so bad.
The state of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts realized they were losing so much money to New Hampshire. And now, like, I mean, and everything in New Hampshire, first of all, is tax free. There's no sales tax on booze, on cigarettes, on tobacco, whatever. And now they're getting it on the gambling shit. And it's been over a year. So it's like, come on, man. You legalize gambling. You have a giant casino outside of Boston. Like, now's the time.
And the Bruins just went up 4-3. So.
Did you take the Bruins?
I did. I got them at 8-20.
Look at you. You are reverse mushing them.
Well, let's see. We got 4:42 to go. Let's
I mean, Casey, there's a reason why on exit 1 of 95, when you get off, there is a fireworks store, a state liquor store, and this massive, Vice factory or Vice Emporium, as they call it, that has like a giant wall of cartons of cigarettes, great beer selection, wines, cigars, the whole fucking deal, because you can get right off the highway. I mean, you can see the state line from this place. It's amazing. And they're going to keep just sending it up there until – and you know what? You go up there, you buy your beer for the weekend, and then you sit in the parking lot, and then, off you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I'll tell you, I wish you can you do everything at home though. I wish you didn't have to go to New Hampshire. It's a bit of a weekend hike for you.
For me, it's not. I mean, I live closer, really, to the New Hampshire border than I do to downtown Boston, or at least equidistant, which is. Not that much of a problem, but like if I lived in Western Mass, I'd be screwed.
Yep.
Right? But then I'd be closer to Treehouse, but I will never have to go to Treehouse because I'm not going to owe Casey a case of beer. He will be delivering me a bottle of Johnny Blue on Thanksgiving of 2020
next year. That sounds fantastic.
I cannot wait. But you know what? I would recommend that you go to New Hampshire and get a discounted bottle of Johnny Blue. Without tax. Or if you could find a bottle of Weller full proof, that would be even more appreciated.
Look at this. He's naming his winnings.
Listen to this guy over here. Hey, let's go easy there, okay? Settle down, boss.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, so baseball, football, and we finished the first week of the hockey season. There's not much to talk about. There's Ranger fan. I got one thing that bothers me. Well, a lot of things bother me. One thing I want to mention here before we call it a night. This social media shit really enables people to fucking lose their mind, as we know. These fans now, these new school fans, and I'm gonna bring out the word millennial again. I just can't help myself. Okay, those younger than us, every fucking game, jumping off the bridge if there's a loss, what have you, dissecting every move a coach makes, thinks they know the right decisions.
Have you listened to any of the show that we put on for a year here?
We listen. I like to think we're a little one step ahead. But 3 games in, fire David Quinn, blah, blah, blah. He's doing this, he's doing that. Listen, these fucking geek-ass fans would never make it through the first month of the 1993-94 Ranger season. Remember and they talk about it on the documentary about the Stanley Cup season. In October, the Rangers got embarrassed by the Ducks. Keenan stopped coaching and gave up on the team. Could you imagine the outrage, the fucking outrage to when he benched Leach in that game and they got embarrassed by the Ducks? What the fuck would have happened in this town? I mean, if Twitter was there and all these fucking 21-year-old fans who think they know everything about sports because they can read the spreadsheet, I can't deal with it. It really grinds my gears like you wouldn't believe. And I just needed to get that off my chest. I should stop reading it, but sometimes you can't avoid it because it's on these fucking threads, and then you keep scrolling like a fucking idiot, and then you're like, these assholes. Anyway. Chill out,
going to be a weird year. And there's one, like we talked about last week, there's one player on this team that's over 30.
Right. It's a 56-game season full of kids.
Chris Kreider is your seasoned, wily veteran.
Keandre Miller turned 21 today. He can't even go to the bar and get a drink because the bar's not open.
Right, but he can. Now he can. I'm sure someone will take care of it. I mean, there's no, and what I don't really care about is these home and homes. Like they're going to play Pittsburgh tomorrow, and then they got to play Pittsburgh again on Sunday.
I kind of like it for hockey and rivalry. I don't mind.
It's going to get old by like March.
I don't know. This season, I'll take it for what it is. It's not going to be any worse than the baseball schedule. It's fine. My point is the Rangers again will drive you crazy some nights. They're going to look great some nights. Their odds are they're not going to make the playoffs. They get one more good draft pick. Great. They get one more good draft pick. They're a year out of their They're a year out of their window. Let's just fucking relax. Let's relax. Fucking relax. Let's get worked up. Let's get worked up about baseball. The Yankees. Let's get angry about the Yankees, a team that should be a championship contender. That's where we need to funnel our fucking anger. Okay? Save it for baseball season. The Mets fans, you should get ready. Don't even worry about hockey. Get fucking ready, Met fans. You're supposed to be a contender. Yankees, we know what the situation is. Get fucking pumped and get your blood pressure ready for the summer. Don't do it in the winter. Just don't do it now. Save yourself. Don't drop dead before baseball season. Don't do it. Okay? That was my little fucking mini rant here. Okay.
Grind my gears with Peter Griffin.
I needed to say it. I needed to let it out. Had to say it. But today was listen, I hope we have a fun weekend. Looking forward to the football. I know you said there's only one soccer match, so that's weak for you. And then there's assorted hockey. Is there anything else? Or are we kind of in that we're prime football now for the next 3 weeks? It's championship weekend. Sunday. You get a bye week in the Super Bowl. So the next 3 weeks, it's all football. All football.
I'm sure there's 10,000 college basketball games on Saturday, but I'm just not like
there are. But I don't know what that means. I don't know anything. First of all, have you met me? I don't know anything about college basketball. But what is like? How do I even? I mean, this year. I mean, is you're treating it like college football because college football is a fucking disaster. You can.
I mean, all the NCAA wants to do is get to the tournament. They want to get to a 64-team field.
Yeah,
and they'll take it from there.
Yeah,
the regions will all be condensed if they get to that part.
Here's a big game for you tomorrow afternoon.
Monmouth and Marist.
No, even better. Niagara's visiting Quinnipiac. Now, Niagara's giving 1.5 to Quinnipiac. The over is 129.5.
Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
And Troy is visiting Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina is giving 11.5.
Yeah, we've had enough of Coastal Carolina in their football.
I know.
You only do go
now
down.
Now you're going big. Oh, I got another bar. There's the gift that keeps on giving. Marist is visiting Ryder.
There you go. I mean, the Battle of the Hudson.
Ryder giving 2.5. So
take the Red Foxes.
So there's your prime college basketball.
Yeah, I mean, I wish there were more soccer games on Saturday, but they're not. But
I'm not betting on these games.
Right. This is why they put the thing where it's like, are you a problem gambler in the smallest print you could find as you're walking to the ATM?
Yes.
At the
In
casino.
Vegas,
Now you don't
yeah.
even have to. While you're walking to the bathroom, you can reset your whole account.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now,
shit.
exactly. No, we're not messing with college basketball, but those are fun colleges to talk about.
I just don't, I mean, it's not like betting a fucking Brazilian soccer team. I just don't, I just don't know enough about
Iranian tennis players.
Right. That's another thing. Apparently, the Australian Open is going to go off as planned, even though like 70 people have fucking coronavirus or in quarantine. You can bet all your, tennis players while you're, while you're sitting on the can now. Good for you.
I will, and that's a good thing. The other big news I had seen this afternoon is that Japan is saying they have to cancel the Olympics, and the IOC was like, "No, we're doing the Olympics."
Yeah, I mean NBC's already pumping them during.
I don't see how they can get away with not holding this, but
I don't know how you're going to get all those people from all those countries into the country. But
yeah,
they can do like, you know what they should do? They should send original Nintendos to everybody with power pads, and they can just do track and field.
IOC said
that's how you would do it. Just give
Yeah, the IOC's like, we're doing the Olympics, and Japan's like, yeah, I don't know about that.
You can think about it. You can solve the whole problem with Nintendos. Yes. You can send power pads to people to do like hurdles and long jump and shit. Then you can send them like Super Nintendos, and they could do like pilot wings or something. And then what else? I don't know. What other sports are there in the golf? Set up Tiger Woods golf from like the fucking Nintendo 64 or PlayStation.
Yeah.
Dope.
South Korea.
Yeah, that's true. South Korea. Like, come on in. I mean, obviously, like the IOC is a racket and all that. But
oh my God, is there any more criminal organization than the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey and the IOC?
Yes, the FIFA.
That's okay. You know what? That's a trifecta. You have totally rounded out the trifecta of corrupt alphabet organizations.
Corruption within sports. And don't forget, the World Cup is going to be in Qatar in 2022, right?
Anyway, we're late on that one. Let's
more people died building those stadiums than have died from the coronavirus.
Let's
it's not true. Well, Casey's right that South Korea would just be like, well, sorry, Japan,
we're holding it.
But you can't buy underwear in a vending machine in South Korea, whereas you can in Toronto, in Tokyo.
The Flyers have tied the game and they're going to overtime.
Mush to the max.
No!
You gave it a good. You gave it the old college try there, buddy. Good job.
Well, it's not over yet. All
right.
See how it goes. All right. So we'll see you next week then.
Sure. I don't know what we're going to talk about. Super Bowl.
I guess so. I guess we will. Enjoy your Sunday. Talk to you during the games.
It's going to be great.
Everyone, take care of yourselves. Be safe. Get pumped up for Championship Sunday. And we'll see you back here next week on the Grand Central Sports Hub. Good night, everybody.